Welcome back to the Old Charles, coin lovers and collectors. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of American coins and taking a closer look at the 1974 United States half dollar, a coin that continues to spark interest among numismatists and history enthusiasts. If you've ever come across this coin in your pocket change or inherited it from a collection, you might be wondering, is it worth more than face value? Well, let's find out. To understand the 1974 half dollar, we first need to look at its background. The coin features the portrait of President John F. Kennedy, who was tragically assassinated in 1963. Following his death, Congress quickly approved a new half-dollar design to honor him, and by 1964, the Kennedy half-dollar entered circulation. Now, by 1974, the Kennedy half-dollar was already a familiar coin in American pockets. But here's something interesting. Unlike the very first 1964 Kennedy half-dollars that contained 90% silver, the 1974 version was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition. That means it has a copper core with a nickel coating, no silver at all in regular circulation strikes. The U.S. Mint produced these coins in 3 different facilities: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, *** Denver Mint, D mint mark, *** San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, for proof coins only. *** This year was significant for another reason too. 1974 was one of the last years before the bicentennial redesign of 1976, when the half-dollar temporarily carried a different reverse honoring America's 200th birthday. On the obverse, you'll find the profile of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His sharp profile, surrounded by the word liberty and the year 1974, stands as a symbol of national pride. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, you'll see the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle with a shield, olive branch, and arrows in its talons. Above the eagle are 50 stars, representing the states. The coin is 30.6 millimeters in diameter and weighs about 11.34 grams, heavier than a quarter, making it easy to identify by touch. Now, let's talk about the value, because that's what most collectors want to know. In circulated condition, a 1974 half-dollar is typically worth its face value of 50 cents, because millions were produced and they are very common. However, in uncirculated condition, the value goes up. 1974 Philadelphia issue in brilliant uncirculated condition can fetch $2 to $5. A 1974 Denver issue, D mint mark, in uncirculated condition can also bring in $2 to $5. The real highlight is the 1974 S-proof half-dollar, struck for collectors. These proof coins often sell for $5 to $12, depending on condition. But here's where it gets more interesting. If your coin has an error, such as a double die obverse, where the lettering or numbers look doubled, it could be worth $50 to several $100 depending on the strength of the doubling and its condition. Collectors are always on the lookout for these rare varieties. Condition plays a huge role in determining value. Let's break it down. Good, G4, ***. The coin is heavily worn, Kennedy's hair details are smooth, and overall it just looks like a well-traveled coin. Value, about 50 cents. Fine, F12, ***. Moderate wear with some design details still visible. Value, still around 50 cents to $1. Extremely fine, XF 40, ***. Light wear, most details are sharp. Value, around $1 to $2. About uncirculated, -50 Australian dollars, ***. Very slight wear on the highest points of Kennedy's hair. Value $2 to $3. Mint state, MS 60 to MS 65, ***. No wear, just bag marks or surface imperfections. Value $3 to $10 depending on the grade. Proof coins, PR 65 and above, ***. Flawless strikes with mirror-like surfaces, often fetching $10 to $20 or more. While the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is not considered rare, it holds strong sentimental and historical value. Many collectors include it in their Kennedy half-dollar series, which remains one of the most popular U.S. coin collections. For beginners, this coin is a perfect starting point, affordable, widely available, and with the added thrill of hunting for varieties like double dies. So there you have it, the story, history, and value of the 1974 United States Kennedy half-dollar. While most of these coins are worth just around face value, the condition, mint mark, and errors can make a huge difference. If you've got one at home, take a closer look. You never know if you're holding a little treasure. To truly appreciate the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, we need to step back in time and understand the history that shaped it. the Kennedy half-dollar series is one of the most iconic in American coinage. It all began in 1963, a year that changed the nation forever. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was tragically assassinated in Dallas, Texas. The shocking event left the country in mourning. Almost immediately, Congress and the U.S. Mint looked for a way to honor the fallen president. Traditionally, major design changes in U.S. coins only happened after long debates, but in Kennedy's case, the decision was made within weeks. In fact, by December 1963, less than a month after his death, the U.S. Treasury approved the replacement of the Franklin half-dollar with a new design featuring Kennedy. The Mint acted quickly. Chief engraver Gilroy Roberts designed Kennedy's portrait for the obverse, while Frank Gasparo created the presidential seal on the reverse. By early 1964, the first Kennedy half-dollars rolled out of the Mint. These were special not just because of their design, but because they were made of 90% silver, at the time, still a standard for larger coins. The public's reaction was overwhelming. Millions of Americans hoarded the new Kennedy half-dollars as keepsakes, not just as money. In fact, so many were saved that very few actually circulated in everyday commerce. However, by the mid-1960s, the United States faced a serious coin shortage. Rising silver prices made it too expensive to continue producing circulating coins with high silver content. In 1965, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from dimes and quarters and reduced silver content in half-dollars from 90% to 40% for Kennedy half-dollars. This meant a transition 1964 ***, 90% silver 1965, 1970 ***, 40% silver 1971 onwards ***. No silver in circulation strikes, only copper-nickel-clad by 1971, the Mint had fully moved to copper-nickel-clad half-dollars, which are the same metal composition we see today. These coins had a pure copper core, sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving them their silver-like appearance. Now, that brings us directly to 1974. This was a time when the Kennedy half-dollar had become a well-established coin in circulation. The 1974 issue continued the copper-nickel-clad standard. But what makes 1974 especially interesting is its timing. It came just before America's bicentennial celebrations of 1976, when the Mint would temporarily change the reverse design of quarters, half-dollars, and dollars to mark the nation's 200th birthday. The 1974 half-dollar is one of the last standard Kennedy designs before that major redesign. Millions were minted, but its place in history is secure because it represents the last normal year before the bicentennial era. Another key detail about the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is its role in American coin circulation trends. By the early 1970s, fewer people actually used half-dollars in daily commerce. Many sat in bank vaults, were hoarded by collectors, or simply weren't requested by the public. This trend only grew, which is why today, the Kennedy half-dollar is struck mainly for collectors rather than for general circulation. Interestingly, the 1974 half-dollar also became known in numismatic circles because of a famous error, the 1974 D double die obverse. In this variety, the doubling can be seen most clearly in the words, "In God we trust," and in the date. These rare varieties remind us that even in modern times, the Mint wasn't immune to striking mistakes, and collectors today prize these coins highly. So, when you hold a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar in your hand, you're not just looking at a piece of money. You're looking at a coin that connects directly to one of America's most important historical moments, the legacy of John F. Kennedy, the changes in U.S. coinage during the silver shortage, and the cultural shift leading into the bicentennial years. When it comes to coin collecting, one of the most important factors that determines value is condition. Even for common coins like the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, condition can mean the difference between a coin that's worth just 50 cents and one that's worth tens or even hundreds of dollars if it's a high-grade error or proof coin. Let's go step by step through the grading process and see how the 1974 half-dollar is evaluated. At this stage, most details are still visible. Kennedy's hair shows clear definition, though some high points are worn down. The eagle on the reverse is strong, with many feather details still present. A coin in this grade looks much sharper and begins to interest beginner collectors. Value, usually $1 to $2. These coins show just a hint of wear on the highest points of Kennedy's hair and cheek. To the naked eye, they often look uncirculated, but a magnifying glass reveals slight smoothing. The fields, the flat areas of the coin, may have minor bag marks or scratches from coin rolls. Value, $2 to $4, depending on eye appeal. Proof coins of 1974 were struck at the San Francisco Mint's mint mark. These were made using specially polished dies and planchets, giving them mirror-like surfaces. Proof grades are labeled PR 60 to PR 70. A PR 65 coin is usually worth around $8 to $12, while a flawless PR 70 deep cameo can be worth $100 or more. Errors can also drastically affect the value. For example, the 1974 D double die obverse is a major collectible, and condition matters a lot here. A circulated example may sell for $50 to $100, while a mint state version can go for several $100s. This shows why condition is always critical. The higher the grade, the more valuable the error becomes. Because small differences in condition can mean big differences in price, collectors often send their coins to professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, *** or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Coin that comes back graded MS-65 or higher will always sell for much more than a raw coin, because the grade is trusted and certified. For the 1974 half dollar, the difference between an uncertified coin and one that is graded MS-66 can easily be the difference between a coin worth just a few dollars and one worth hundreds. So, when looking at your 1974 Kennedy half dollar, don't just glance at the date and mint mark. Pay attention to the details, luster, wear patterns, and overall eye appeal. These are the things that make the difference between a pocket change coin and a prized collectible.